What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and today we're going to be addressing a topic I get asked very frequently, which is how do you maintain your focus? How do you improve your focus and your productivity and your energy so you can accomplish more with less amount of time? So I'm going to give you some of my best tips, strategies, and suggestions for you so you can start crushing it in any category of your life. Now, focus is like a muscle. It is something that needs to be improved and worked on, but there are also some other aspects to our focus that are weighing you down. It's like going for a run, but you're wearing a weight vest as you're going through a run. You do want to get better at running, but you also want to remove as much weight as possible that's preventing you from running as efficiently, as fast as possible. So with that being said, what are some of the biggest things that weigh down your focus and really dramatically decrease your ability to stay focused? And one of the first ones is distractions. Distractions are one of the biggest things that will detract or distract your focus, which makes total sense, but a lot of people don't actively engage in trying to remove as many distractions as possible. So with that being said, a lot of focus and being able to increase your focus comes down to preparation. Preparing to focus, which means before you get into your workspace, removing any distractions. Maybe putting your workspace into a zone where you're not going to be distracted by things on the outside or people can't reach you immediately. One of the simplest hacks out there to increase your focus is just to turn your phone onto airplane mode, because that's going to block any possible incoming distractions from distracting you from what you're trying to focus on. One of the biggest problems people have is getting notifications on their phone or getting that text message in. One of the biggest roadblocks to your focus is those little tiny distractors that zap your focus, because focus is like momentum. Focus builds over time, and so little distractions, even little notifications on your phone, will completely stop the momentum you're trying to build with your focus. So a very simple way to keep your focus on that momentum train is to turn your phone onto airplane mode. It seems really simple, but not a lot of people do it. Now, on the same line of thinking, you also want to make sure you're just avoiding as much social media in general. And there's a reason why social media can really drain our focus. Social media is great, but it's training our brains to be less productive. The more you use social media, it gives you a dopamine hit. And that more that your brain gets that dopamine hit, the more it craves it, the more it wants it. And the more you're trying to struggle with that dopamine fix and wanting to look at social media, it's going to drain your ability to focus, because as you're starting to focus, you're thinking to yourself, oh, I wonder if anybody liked my photo. Oh, I wonder if that person posted something new. I wonder what that person's stories is up to next. And all of a sudden it starts to really detract your focus, because now you've created a habit of getting that dopamine hit through social media. One very simple way to increase your focus is by completely clearing your workspace of anything that could possibly be a distraction. So what I do is I go to my workspace and I clear everything out except for my laptop and my headphones. Those are the only things I need to stay focused. Everything else is just going to become a distraction, so I completely clear it off until I need to absolutely use it. Now, as you're starting to clear distractions from your workspace, one thing that I highly recommend you do, especially if you're just getting started with learning what's your best way to focus, what's the best workspace for you, and you're trying to fine-tune all these little pieces of your focus environment and lifestyle, is really to set a very clear amount of time for how long you want to focus for. I usually recommend anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes if you're just starting, with a 10-minute break in between. So usually this is called a Pomodoro timer. It's a very simple app you can put on your phone, on your computer, and it sets an allocated amount of time that you're going to specifically work with absolutely zero distractions. Your brain's like a muscle. So the more that you focus and use that muscle, your brain will tire out. So having set breaks and time caps to that your brain knows is going to happen almost allows you to focus more like a sprint rather than a marathon. If your brain knows it's going to be working for 4 hours instead of 20 minutes, it's going to work a little bit differently than, say, if you're working for a 20-minute sprint. So now that you've set a time that you want to work, here is the biggest secret to getting absolutely mind-blowing focus that so many people ignore and don't even think about. That is to set a specific goal for what you want to accomplish when you're sitting down to focus on something. You'll be shocked at how many people never set an intention of what they're trying to get done within that specific block of time. They're just trying to get as much done as they can, or maybe they don't even have a set outline of what they're trying to do. They're just sitting down and saying that they're working, but they don't have a set objective of what they're trying to accomplish. That is the biggest roadblock to your focus, because then now your brain has to spend more energy trying to think about what it wants to accomplish. No. You need to have this set aside, ready to go, so you know exactly what you need to accomplish within that set amount of time. And trust me, it'll give you mind-blowing amounts of focus and allow you to go from one task to the other, and you'll be shocked at how productive you'll actually be. So let's get to some more tactical info on how to increase your focus. Now, I want to start with a simple way to increase your focus is your nutrition and lifestyle. This is something that so many people overlook. And if you really want to increase your focus, you have to start with the foundation of healthy nutrition, because your brain is a muscle. Your brain is a supercomputer. Your brain needs the optimal combination of nutrients to be able to function properly. If it doesn't have that, it's like putting canola oil into your Ferrari. It's not going to work properly. This brain up here is a Ferrari, and if you give it the right fuel, it's going to work for you so well that you won't believe it. And a foundational pillar to building focus from a nutritional standpoint starts with hydration. Remember those movies where somebody's in a bathtub and somehow there's an electrical appliance near the bathtub and it falls into the bathtub, they get electrocuted? That's because electricity works better in water, and your brain has tons of electricity going through it at all times. So if you don't have the right hydration, guess what? You are not going to have optimal brain power. So you must be getting optimal water intake every single day. Not only is that important for your brain from an electrical standpoint, it's also important for your brain to be able to flush out toxins, also to decrease inflammation in your body, and it's important in so many aspects. So hydration is that key thing, and most people tend to be dehydrated. So this is something that you need to focus on every single day. Another key to maximizing your brain power is getting enough healthy fats. Your brain is made up of mostly fat, so your brain is built off the building blocks of healthy fat. If you're not getting healthy fat, guess what? You're not giving your brain what it needs to stay and function optimally. This would include things like omega-3s, avocados, walnuts, things that have healthy fats like DHA, EPA are all super important for your brain to be able to function optimally. So getting these regularly in your diet is going to be critical for you to maintain optimal healthy brain function. Now, your gut is known as your second brain for a reason. It produces so much of the nutrients and components that your brain needs to function optimally. So if you're not supporting your gut health, you're going to have really poor brain health. So if you really want maximum brain power, you need to start focusing on your gut. Now, if you're saying to yourself, all right, Brady, I've done all these things. I know I'm doing all the right things nutritionally to maximize my brain power, but I want that little extra edge. Then for you, my friend, I would say start looking into nootropics. Nootropics are amazing supplements out there that contain natural components to boost your brain power naturally. There are so many options available out there for you, from Qualia to Cognetics to Deus to so many other options that are out there. Now, if you really want to boost your brain power naturally, I would even look into things like mushrooms. Mushrooms are powerful promoters of brain health. More specifically, I would look into something called lion's mane. Lion's mane has been shown to promote nerve growth factor, which helps actually promote neuroplasticity in your brain, the production of new brain cells, and helps protect your brain from stress. Now, another interesting mushroom that can really help promote your brain function and brain power is cordyceps. You're also seeing cordyceps promoted a lot in a lot of nootropics because cordyceps helps increase oxygenation, also increases blood flow. Now, this is really important when you want to increase blood flow and oxygenation to your brain, which as a byproduct will help increase your focus and your brain power. Now, after nutrition, if you really want to increase your brain performance and your focus, I'd really start looking into sleep. Sleep is something that's often overlooked by a lot of people because they think if I sleep less and work more, I'll be able to get more done and be more productive. I found the opposite is true. I found that when I sleep less, I'm actually draining my focus, my ability to focus, because my brain feels more lethargic. I feel like I have more brain fog because sleep is an important time where your brain's recovering. It's flushing out toxins. It's getting ready for the next day. It needs time to recover recover from the previous day. And if you don't do that, it's like going into another workout without having a rest time before that. So you need sleep as a healthy component to be able to restore your brain function for the next day. And it's also going to help you maximize your focus within that window of time, so you'll actually be able to get more done in a smaller window of time. And isn't that the definition of productivity? Now, if you're interested in learning more about how to maximize your sleep, make sure you check out the video I just did on sleep. That'll help give you everything you need to know on how to crush your sleep. Music is also another powerful way to increase your focus. This is something I've been a huge fan of for a long time. I basically now, anytime I need to focus, I'm always listening to music, because I found that it now becomes a trigger for me to tune in my focus. So I usually like things that don't have lyrics. I'm a huge fan of binaural beats, chill hop music, things that just have a nice beat or rhythm to it. You can even use spa music, nature sounds, even gaming music can be great to actually maximize your focus and productivity, because it just helps your brain block out all distractions and zone in on exactly what you need to do. Now, the more that you start using that music then becomes a trigger for your brain to know when to focus. So now, over the past couple of years of doing this, now anytime I hear that music, it helps center my brain on what I need to focus on, and I'm able to get a lot more done and stay focused longer thanks to the help of music. Now, as a brief sidebar, if you're trying to focus, the problem with lyrics in music is your brain's always picking up on the words that are being said. And so as you're listening to those music that have lyrics, your brain's actually kind of getting distracted by listening to what those words are, and it's going to distract your focus. So you want to stick to more music that has no lyrics, like classical music, binaural beats, video game music, spa music, whatever it is, whatever works best for you. Now, I'm a huge fan of making lists in order to maximize your productivity. And there's a big reason why. Is lists allow you to really prepare ahead of time to break down the tasks that need to get done as much as possible, so you always know what the next step is. So by making lists, you'll actually be able to break it down step by step and never have to use excess brain power knowing what the next task is. So as you go to sit down to focus, as you complete one after the other, it allows you to stay focused longer. Now, there's a secret to lists that many people don't realize, is that when you mark something off on a list, it actually stimulates the production of dopamine. Your brain sees that as a reward. You just knock something off the list and gives you a nice dopamine hit, which then motivates you and increases your focus to go on to the next task. So that's why I'm a huge fan of using lists if you really want to increase your brain power and your productivity. It's time to set the record straight on multitasking. Multitasking is a huge myth that'll make you more productive. Now, first, let me be clear what I mean by multitasking. Yes, I can multitask doing my work and sipping a cup of coffee at the same time. That's a mental and a physical activity. Yes, your brain can do that. They're two separate circuits, but your brain literally cannot do two mental activities at the same time, especially if you want to be more productive. Or if you do try to do those two mental activities at a time, you're taking your focus and you're taking it instead of a fire hose and spreading it out like a sprinkler. It's going to be far less effective. Yes, you're spraying water, but you're not going to put out a forest fire. If I ask you to do your work and also give me directions to the nearest Walmart and also maybe do a Sudoku puzzle, your brain can't do that. You can't do that many activities at once. Multitasking is a giant myth, which is why the book The One Thing came out, to describe why multitasking is a big myth and why it's far more powerful to focus on one thing at a time. Now, if you're really serious about maximizing your brain power and productivity, you have to be exercising. One, just as a general standpoint, exercise increases blood flow to the brain, which is going to help give your brain more oxygen and nutrients to work better. That's the whole definition of brain power. But if you want to get a little bit more technical with this, I would highly focus your time on cardiovascular exercise, mainly because there was a research article sent out by Harvard that showed that cardiovascular exercise increased something called BDNF in your brain. BDNF stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. BDNF is a really powerful component to stimulate neuroplasticity. It helps your brain change, improve itself, but also it has been shown to increase your cognition and brain function. So I'm a huge fan of cardiovascular exercise if you really want to take your brain power and performance to the next level. Now, that's not to say you only have to do cardiovascular exercise. I highly encourage all forms of exercise, but if you really want to focus your attention and maximize your brain power, that's what I'd focus on. Okay guys, that's all the tips that I got for you on maximizing your focus. Now, if you did enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up and a like down there, just so people know that this is actually a helpful video and actually has good content, good information. And if you would like more videos like this, make sure you click that red subscribe button over there, because that's gonna tell you when we get new videos out that are gonna help your mind and your life. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.